Welcome to week 0 of The Profitable Programmer. I have another full week coming for you guys where we're going to go deep into covering the fundamentals of Python. For this video, we are going to touch on the four crucial tips you need to know to become a top performer, okay? So let's go into them. Number 1. Always give value first. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Giving value first. It means don't be a value leech, okay? And first of all, let's just define kind of what I mean by value. It means to give somebody something, okay, that is useful to them. Now, let's say, for example, if you want something in return from somebody, right? A lot of times people just go about it by asking questions from them. That doesn't move that person to help you, okay? Or think about reaching somebody who is like busy or a celebrity and you want to get their attention and get something from them, right? If you just simply ask them questions, everybody asks them questions. Everybody wants something from them, right? So if you just do that, they're going to kind of ignore you. So one of the most important things is always be from a mindset where how is this other person winning from me? You want the other person to win more than you, okay? If they're winning and you are giving them value first and you're doing things for them first, then later you won't even have to ask for what you need. They'll be giving it to you, but when you do ask, it's a lot easier. Translating it into job, let's say, okay? If you're always outperforming other people and doing what you're supposed to be doing and providing value, let's say to your boss first, then when you ask for that raise, that's not going to be a value leech, right? He trusts you, he has that relationship with you, and when you ask for that, you're much more likely to get that promotion. So this will be useful for you as a Python freelancer, a developer, or even a business person, right? If you're running a business and you have this new app and you want to share it with the world, well, if you just always market about your app and talk about your app, nobody cares. But if you tell the world about what they want, right, and give them value first, then later you can talk about your product and talk about your app, okay? So this is an example of one, relationships that I gave you. The second one was if you're working as a freelancer or a developer. Third one is how this can be beneficial to you even as somebody who's trying to run a business and trying to launch that next Instagram, next Google, or it doesn't have to be that crazy ambitious. Even if it's a simple app you want to share with your friends or family, this would be helpful. Okay, great. Always try to be the best at what you do, okay? So this leads me into point number 2. Never, ever, 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 ever say you can't do something, all right? Always come from the mindset of how can I instead of why I can't, okay? Your first response, your knee-jerk reaction, even if you don't know something, even if it seems daunting, even if it seems overwhelming, overbearing, and like it's killing you, your first response should never be, I can't do it, okay? It should be, how can I do it? Now, let me give you an example of it, okay? So for example, some of the mentors I've worked with in the past and how I was able to determine somebody was good for me and somebody who actually wanted to be my mentor for the long term or somebody I wanted to work with for a longer term, one of the biggest and key differentiators for me was their willingness to go out of their way to help me, okay? So for example, I had a few mentors who I'd be like, hey, this is a cool idea that I have for Python. I mean, it's cool you taught me for loops and, conditional statements and syntax and and some recursion, whatever. But wouldn't it be cool if we worked on some kind of project together or like build some kind of app? That would be kind of cool, right? They'd be like, oh, sorry, can't help you. I'd be like, okay, but you didn't even hear out what the app is going to be about. Maybe you can help me. Maybe you do know. Or like as soon as I mention a new technology I want to learn, there's like the first words that would come out of their mouths would be like, sorry, can't help you. And now imagine if they just spent some time, maybe even looking it up, right? And then teaching it to me. It would be super helpful for me. And another thing that actually happened recently was I went for my nephew's birthday, okay? He just turned 2, and I flew out to California. I'm still in California, and we were in San Jose. And we went to a Walmart there to get some stuff for him. We bought all this stuff, me, my brother, and my sister-in-law. And we filled the shopping cart. We bought all the stuff. We paid for it. And then, usually when I get a receipt, I'm just like, oh, cool, whatever. I throw it away. I don't care for receipts. Usually they just pile up in my car and become garbage. And I want it. So that's what I did. Just threw it away. And 99% of the times, 99.9% of the times, it's never been a problem. I just walk straight out. They're like, cool, no problem. As we're walking out the door, this lady's there with her little marker, and she's standing there, and she asks for the receipt. And we say, sorry, we don't have a receipt. We threw it away. And she just looks at us as if she's helpless to do anything, that she doesn't have any power. She just looks at us dead in the eye, and she goes, okay, well, you need the receipt. And we're like, is there anything we can do? And she just keeps looking at us in our eyes, and she just goes, nope, sorry, can't help you. And then same thing. We go to the cash register, and we try to get the receipt, and that person there goes, sorry, can't print it for you. Right? So it's so painful to kind of go through that, right? And now imagine, it wouldn't be that difficult. If they went a little bit out of their way, it wouldn't be that difficult for them to help us, right? And we would have a great experience, and the manager, whoever, would see that, and maybe one day they might get a promotion at their job, right? Or go on to do bigger and better things. But unfortunately, a lot of the people won't go out of their way to help you, okay? And this was really painful experience for us. It took us like 10, 20 minutes to get out of there eventually. And they're just like, okay, fine. I mean, yeah. So this is an example that kind of happened with me, but this might happen around you at your workplace or wherever you are all the time, right? Where at the customer service, when you're calling them, they can go above and beyond and help you. And how you could translate that into what you do is genuinely try to be the best at what you do, right? Take pride in your work and go outside of your way to help that other person, right? Even if it's difficult for you, even if it's painful, but your job, your duty should always be to make sure that whoever you're dealing with leaves happy, right? Now, if they're just complete a-holes and are not willing to listen, then obviously you can't help them there. But if somebody needs help, never leave people hanging, right? And especially if it's part of your job, then go out of your way to do it, make it a habit, because I promise you, once you translate it, once I start showing you the business skills you need and how you can profit with Python, this will be one of the most valuable skills for you to profit, okay? So yes, it's good. I'm trying to tell you this for altruistic purposes, just for the good of your heart. But if you're just like a objective and a calculated person, even in that case, this is beneficial for you, okay? You literally profit with this. So it's a win-win for other people, win for you, and win for your heart to keep you warm, fuzzy, and cozy, okay? So that's number 2. Never say you can't do something. And instead of I can't, always think about how can I? Now, we're going to move on to point number 3, okay? And this is take full responsibility for your failure and for your success, my friend, okay? And as Grant Cardone says, somebody I follow, look him up if you don't follow him, it doesn't happen to you, it happens because of you, okay? So what does that mean? That means No matter what happens to you in your life, right? A car comes and crashes you, rear ends you. I don't know, you're just like walking down, you fall down the stairs, just like break your face. It's in your power to change it. And everything that's bad is your fault, and everything that's success is because of you. Okay? If you can understand that and internalize that, that'll change everything for you. It'll take you from being this helpless person who everything is happening to and it's not in their control to somebody who's has the power and can change the direction of their life. Okay? You have the power to control your income. You have the power to control who you spend your time with. You have the power to control ultimately your happiness. Okay? And, like for example, accident happened. Instead of going, oh, I couldn't do anything about it, maybe you can leave earlier when there's less traffic, or you can leave later when there's less traffic. Okay? Fell down the stairs, instead of just complaining about the stairs or whatever, you could be like, hey, maybe I should have been more careful. Maybe I shouldn't have worn those shoes. Maybe I shouldn't have been talking to that person when this happened. This way, you have some power to control it. Translating it to job world, and when you are at work, right? If everything is your fault and everything is happening because of you, you're going to go out of your way to make sure things are right. Okay? This means that you're not going to be like, oh, this wasn't done right because of Bob, and that's his fault, and you can see that it's fault and he messed something up, and you're not going to go out of your way to fix it. And you're going to cause the company a loss, and great, nobody's going to blame you for it. They're going to blame Bob, but there was no win for you, right? Now, what if you went and actually did it and made it work, right? That way, maybe you can be the hero. Maybe you can get that promotion. And maybe Bob will be like, hey, this person is awesome. He's looking out for me. And now he's cheering on for you too and helping you. Okay, so take full responsibility. And now thinking about this course and how this is going to help you and the whole thing about profiting with Python, look, I'm here as your guide. I'm here as your mentor. This course is here as your shortcut, right? I'm going to give you all the tools that you need. But you need to be the one, right? You need to be the one to execute on this and make sure you get these results. Your results is not my responsibility, okay? I'm here to guide you. I'm here to give you everything you need every step of the way. But you have to understand that your success and your failure is always your responsibility, okay? So this is what this means. You don't just sit there and just go, I really hope that this just changes my life or something else that changes my life, right? You have to look at it from a perspective of, hey, this is great. This is going to help me, but I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I become successful, and I'm going to use this tool and I'm going to execute. I'm going to execute and I'm going to be relentless in how I execute, okay? So very, very important thing to kind of understand, and just remember this, okay? Take full responsibility, never blame anything or anybody else, and your failure and your success is your responsibility, okay? I know I'm repeating it, but it's very, very important, and I want to make sure that's kind of you internalize it. Okay, good. Now I want to move on to point number 4, which is be brutally honest with yourself. Okay, this is a very, very, very important point. If you want to become good at anything in life, you have to be brutally honest. In my life, everybody I've seen who has become better and improved really fast, they're just extremely brutally honest with themselves. And Darren Hardy, who actually started following a little bit because of my brother, and he says PDA, okay, which is normally it means public display of affection, but what he means, Darren Hardy means, is public display of accountability, okay, and that's pretty much putting yourself out there and letting everybody know what your goals are, where you stand, and how you're going to improve. So you can do that where you can tell everybody kind of what you're doing, where you are exactly. Like, for example, if it's business, share your numbers. If it's your freelancing career, be open with exactly how many clients you have, how much money you're making. Like, don't hide that stuff, okay? Because when you're honest with everything, then what happens is you don't use that thing to identify who you are. Like, for example, the number of clients you have, or the money you're making every month, or the money you're making every year, that's not who you are. That's just something you do. So by just talking about it and being open about it, first of all, you're going to break that association with it, which is very important for your self-confidence. But more importantly, why it's going to be very important for you is that you can then systematically see it and see it as a process where you can improve. Let me give you an example. Look, most of people's lives, what's everybody's typing speed? What's the average person's typing speed? It's something between 30 and 50 words per minute. Why do people never improve? If somebody's 40 or 50 years old and they've been typing for 30 years, 20 years, how come they're not better than somebody who's 18 and this 18-year-old kid is way faster than this other person? It's not because that 18-year-old has spent more time on the keyboard, right? It's because what happens is that there's some point where we improve kind of so much, or once we improve to a certain level of extent, we never improve more than that because we're never consciously focusing on it, okay? It's the same thing with your body weight. If you're not consciously focusing on it and measuring it, you're not going to improve your body weight. If you're not consciously focusing on your words per minute on the typing keyboard, you're not going to improve your typing. If you're not focusing on how much money you're making at your job or how many clients you have this month, if you're not measuring it, you're not going to improve it, right? What gets measured gets managed. I forget who says that, but it's not my quote, okay? Somebody else's quote. So you have to make sure that you're brutally honest with exactly where you are. You let everybody know. And so even if you're at a job, you let people know what you don't know. Don't be that person who's sitting there and no matter what the other people say, and you're just like, of course I know that. Of course I know that. Okay, so if it's coming to coding and somebody's talking about, I don't know, like polymorphism or object-oriented programming or something as simple as for loops or if-then conditions or printing or return statements, if you are just sitting there just like, of course I know that, of course I know what functions are, you automatically, that's an instant way of closing down your brain from this epic opportunity for learning something. You know, there might have been an opportunity to learn something crazy, learn something brand new. And by saying those words, I already know that, you shut yourself off to all of that, okay? So I urge you and I encourage you to never ever kind of use those words like, I already know that, okay? And even if it's something that you already know, just be patient and go through it again. And if somebody's explaining it, let it happen, okay? And what you'll find out is there are a lot of insights you'll find that you didn't even know were there before, okay? Like, for example, if I'm just going to give just a random example that's coming to my head. Print. Okay, cool. A lot of people know it. A lot of people know how to do print hello world, for example, in Python, okay? Now, maybe you're using Python too, and you don't have to put those parentheses, and you can write print space quotations hello world, right? And it works in your Python. But in Python 3, you have to put parentheses around after the print because print is a function. If you don't know what this means, don't worry. We'll cover it in the next week, Fundamentals of Python. But this is just an example of, now imagine if you had said, oh, I already know what print is, and maybe you were only using Python 2. Now you won't know any of that when it comes to Python 3, okay? And you're going to spend hours getting confused, like, what is happening? Where did I go wrong? Okay, so again, remove that and be very honest with yourself. When you're honest with yourself, you open up yourself to critique, okay? And don't avoid critique. Look for critique. It's like one of the best ways to improve yourself, okay? Because if somebody's telling you what's right about you, that doesn't help you. That's already right, and that's good. That's great. Maybe you can double down on your strengths. But if somebody's critiquing you, people are critiquing you, not in a negative way, like a constructive way, right? that helps you focus and improve in those departments. Like, for example, when I'm mentoring somebody one-on-one, like I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, no, do it this way. Like I'll be literally over your shoulder, like, nope, don't do that. Don't do that. Do it the other way. Stop. Use the keyboard shortcut for this. Stop. Open up your PyCharm. Stop. Turn it into a function, right? So I'll be constantly kind of giving you that critique. Now, if you're defensive, you're like, yeah, I know how to write a function. Yeah, of course I know that. Yeah, of course. No, I'm doing it my way. It's a different way. You don't know about this. I'm not going to fight you. I'm just not going to say anything because I don't want to waste my breath. And if somebody's trying to help you out and maybe they know something you don't and they're trying to give you advice, and if you're defensive, most people won't fight you. If somebody's fighting you, that's a good sign. That means they believe in you. But if they're not, that means that they kind of have given up on you, okay? So if you are open to critique, then the other person doesn't become defensive and they're not going to stop kind of giving you what you need to know, okay? Instead of what you want to hear, people this way will give you what you need to hear, and that'll help you explode. Let's say when it comes to business and you are doing Python freelancing, if you're getting critique from other Python freelancers, you're going to improve so fast. If you know exactly how much you suck right now, like openly, and you share that with people and other people help you improve, then you're going to be improving very, very fast, and you just soak their critique in. Like, be a sponge for critique, okay? And it all stems from being brutally honest with yourself. So, be easy to mentor, and that again, be easy to critique. So yeah, reviewing the 4 things. 1, always give value first. 2, never say you can't do something. And instead of I can't, always think, how can I? Number 3, take full responsibility for your failure and for your success. It doesn't happen to you. It happens because of you, as Grant Cardone says. And number 4, be brutally honest with yourself. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video.